Welcome to this YouTube video. Today, we are discussing the news that Novak Djokovic, the world's #1 tennis player, has been denied entry into Australia after failing to provide appropriate proof of exemption from the Australian government's vaccine regulation for foreigners entering the country. A few days ago, the Serbian player was granted an exemption from the COVID vaccine requirements to play at the Australian Open, but on Thursday, the visa was cancelled by federal authorities in Australia. Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt told the Australian breakfast news show Sunrise that the decision was made after reviewing the exemption that was provided through the Victorian government process. Prime Minister Scott Morrison then explained that the decision was made out of the desire to remain vigilant in the pandemic. Under the current Australian law, foreigners needing to enter the country must have a visa and be fully vaccinated. There are some temporary vaccine exemptions for citizens, which include people who have had a PCR-confirmed case of COVID in the last 6 months, though it is unclear if they apply to foreigners. When Djokovic posted on his social media that he had been granted an exemption permission to travel to Australia, many were surprised. But the player did not come with sufficient evidence to prove his exemption, which caused a massive outcry in the country. When asked about the decision to grant an exemption to Djokovic, Home Affairs Minister Karen Andrews said no one competing at the Australian Open will be afforded any special treatment. And Hunt said it was reasonable to have exactly the same requirement for all who enter Australia. So why has all of this attention been put on Novak Djokovic and his potential entry into the country? Well, Djokovic is a very talented player, and he is currently the top-ranked singles tennis player in the world who is looking for his 21st Grand Slam title. He has also had several headlines throughout the pandemic. In April 2020, he publicly said he was against vaccines and wouldn't want to be required to receive a shot in order to travel. Just months later, he and his wife tested positive for COVID after he organized and played in exhibition matches that lacked social distancing recommendations. It is clear that Novak Djokovic has been a source of scrutiny in this situation, as his beliefs and behavior have made headlines throughout the pandemic. Many believe strongly that he shouldn't be given special treatment, while others plead for mercy due to the player's status and immense talent. Whatever your opinion may be, we can all agree that this situation is a great example of how the Australian government is taking the pandemic seriously and are willing to put restrictions in place to keep their citizens safe. So, it's good to know that the country is doing what it can to make sure the pandemic doesn't become worse by allowing people in who haven't been vaccinated. Thanks for watching this video, and be sure to stick around for